Hello, everyone. Okay, and welcome back to. Well, I guess not welcome back. I guess just welcome. Welcome to the stream. Because today we're not playing my backlog for like the first time in a while. We are playing something else, and as you might have seen from the title of the stream, we today are playing Mask of the Rose. So, yeah, for those who haven't seen the tweet, Mask of the Rose is, well, it's a visual novel that's not yet released. It's coming out. Actually, do we actually have a release date? I don't think we do. They're expecting it October, November this year. So yeah, it's gonna take a little while before the full thing is out. But yes, they released a demo like last week or last weekend, something like that. And I'm really excited for it because, as you can see on the bottom round here, this is based in the same universe as Fallen London. And Fallen London is a text-based browser game that I played for a bit in like... Oh god, it's almost like 10 years ago now. Okay, that was a bit of a realization. Whoops. But yeah, I played a bit of that. I really loved the setting of it. It was really cool. Because basically, the main thing is like, it's called Fallen London. The main idea of it is that, well, maybe the game itself will explain it to us. Probably they will probably explain some of the setting, I would assume, because probably not everybody who plays this plays Fallen London, right? So I guess we'll find out. But yeah, the basic premise is that, well, London has fallen down. It has just fallen into the ground, and now there's a whole underground world full of like London and other cities and all sorts of mysterious creatures that were originally there that we have now met. So yeah, I'm sure we'll meet plenty of those in this here journey. But yeah, I really like their games, like especially Sunless Sea, which was a boat simulator roleplay game. I don't know what to call it actually, but it was really cool. Like I was obsessed with that for a while. Honestly, I guess I'm still kind of obsessed with it. I just haven't played it in a bit. But yeah, I thought it was really cool. It was also set in the same universe. So when I saw that Mask of the Rose was coming out, or that was something that they were thinking about doing, I backed it on Kickstarter, and now here's a demo, and we are going to play it. So, yeah, without further ado, let's just get into it, I guess. So yeah, I haven't played any of this yet, so this is going to be first for me as well for this particular demo. In February 1862, with no warning at all, London fell through the surface of the earth. This music is so good, by the way. Let's just immediately, wow. This was meant to be a year of progress in industry. The Great Exposition, trams, a new sewer system. Instead, we find ourselves dwelling in a cave. It's October now. The fires have been put out, the bodies have been buried. But the future remains unimaginable. The time before, impossibly distant. Okay, so this is set really quickly after the fall then, because I believe, I'm not entirely sure. Fallen London has been a while, and so is Sunless Sea, to be honest. I believe those were set quite a bit later, like it wasn't like a couple of months after the fall, so that's really interesting. So yeah, the past, who were you? I guess we can choose a background for ourselves. An arcane academic, I studied esoteric writings, the hierarchies of spirits, the language of angels, the practical powers of creation. I have friends in high places and I'm familiar with the church's ways, whether I agree with it or not. Okay? Or a dock worker's child. My father worked the docks, unloading ships. My uncle was a sailor. We were on the right side of the law, but the same couldn't always be said for our friends. Okay? The docks are allied with the working class and with criminals. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, so those are two options in the demo, at least. Which one would be more interesting? Like when I played Fallen London, my character was like, there were 4 main stats. And my character was very watchful. Like that was the main thing I was going for. So I think I did some stuff with the academics, but I'm not quite sure. I also spent some time with the docs because, well, you know, it's it's a browser game, and I didn't get very like deep into any like into most storylines, so I was just like exploring a bit and finding all the stuff out. But obviously, a dock workers also would be fun because I played Sunless Sea, and that's obviously you spent some time at the docks there. You know what? No, I'm going to like. This sounds like a lot of fun mystery going on, so I'm just going to go with Arcane Academic. That's me. Down here, your name is whatever you say it is. Often there's no one left to remember who you used to be. Some people hold tight to the names they carried before. Some reinvent themselves completely. That's a fun way of saying like, oh yeah, you can just, you know, you can roleplay. You can really roleplay a character, or you can just, you know, pick your own name. I prefer strangers to address me as comrade, captain, lieutenant, doctor, professor, officer. Ooh, there's a lot of choices. Brother, sister, reverend, intendant. Wow. A lot, lady. So yeah, the thing was like, at Sunless Sea, I always chose captain. I just always chose captain because like. You own a boat, right? You're sailing the seas, so yeah. I think I like Doctor. Doctor Jozeevis, that's a nice ring to it, right? Citizen. Citizen is also nice. I like how many, like, that was also a big thing of like, even as far back as Fallen London, but also in like Sunless Sea and clearly here as well, that like, they are very inclusive. Like, you could see there were, like, a couple of gendered options, but a lot of these options are, well, you know, gender neutral. Which is cool. I kind of like the sound of sitting Jozeevis. I'm gonna be honest. That suits me. That's me. Jozeevis to my friends, citizen to strangers. That's how I was addressed even before London fell. I'm a different person down here than I was before, or down here I'm finally able to use the name that always fit me. I think I'm gonna go for this. That's how I was addressed even before London fell. Oh boy, choose the cameo that best represents you. Oh boy, these are some choices. I'm loving this vibe here. What is that? What am I looking at there in the white? Huh. Like these cameos, they use this as well in like Fallen London and Sunless Sea, and they always look so good. They're always so cool. You know what? I'm just going full like, let's go here. Let's do that. That looks awesome. In the Neve, a true ally means everything. When I find people to be close to, I am looking for friendship, attraction rather than romance, romance rather than attraction, both romance and attraction. Okay, yeah, so that's also one of the cool things, like, specifically about Mask of the Rose. Like, it is a visual novel, there is romance in it as a possibility, if you want it. If you don't want it, you can also just be friends with everybody and not have to deal with it if you're not interested in that. And you also have the choice between like attraction, romance, which one do you want? So yeah, I think this is awesome. I think this is really cool. Whew, what am I gonna pick here though? That's a good question. You know what? I'm going romance rather than attraction. I like the sound of that. So, yeah, Citizen Jozeevis, Arcane Academic, Chaste Romance. That's me, baby. I'm happy with this. And just imagine, like, in writing a visual novel, which is already, like, a huge undertaking. And then also like, putting all these options in. Like, not just, like, there's romance or not, but also the difference between, like, attraction and romance. Like, how many more do you have to write to like be able to support that? And it's so cool that they took that effort. Right now I'm meant to be helping with the census, finding out who still lives in my neighborhood. The first census results are due tomorrow, and I haven't done anything. If I turn them in, I get paid. The first money to come my way in nearly 2 months. If I don't, I'm going to disappoint Grizz badly. She knew I was in trouble, so she went out of her way to find me work with her own employers. She even gave me a badge to show my affiliation. Ooh, badge of the Ministry of Accounting and Recounting. The front of the badge looks almost like a constable's badge, with a lion and unicorn emblazoned on it. The back of the badge is some kind of symbol I don't recognize. Hot to the touch. Interesting. Okay, so we got a badge. I keep it with the clothes I have from before the fall, and a few odd items I have found more recently. Change my outfit. Ooh. Outfit notes. Not a very sophisticated look. Not much of a look at all. Well, that's fair. There's mushrooms on these hats. Grand, exotically trimmed, they're very much a creation of the Neve. Wearing this hat when courting always inspires me with additional flirtatious things to say. Ah! Ooh. It looks so cool with the mushrooms. Like whoever designed that did a bang-up job. Going bareheaded is a bit chilly in this weather. Well, I guess we'll take a hat then. Bare face, good for the complexion. Lapel. Well, we have to use our badge, of course. I might not want to, when I'm going out, I might not want to declare any particular affiliation. Oh, so you could also, like, maybe not wear the badge so you could hang out with people that don't like the Ministry of Accounting and Recounting, maybe? Yeah, so that's the same description as that we just saw. And, of course, our academic gown. We earned it the hard way. The gown and badge say I'm offering my consulting expertise to the ministry. The hat says I don't spend all my hours in the library. That's funny. I'm curious what else it says. The gown makes it look as though I'm about to deliver a lecture. The hat says I don't spend all my hours. Okay, yeah, so this is just... What this? Okay, so those just give the same. And if I go... That's so interesting, like how the description changes. You know what? I'm just going to go wear all of it. Let's see where this takes us. Oh, is this Chris? Oh yeah, it is. I thought you were up here. She glances at the badge I'm wearing. I suppose you should be glad you're thinking about the census, even if you didn't get around to leaving the house. I react to that the way I react to many things these days. I turned it into a joke, I dare to name the frightening things out there, or I lie. Ooh. I mean, to be honest, like, the true reaction is of course the first one. So, you know what, let's just go with that. Let's just go, let's go with that. I thought I'd wait for a change in the weather. A lovely snow, perhaps? There's no sunshine down here, there are no yellow pea soup fogs, there's no rain, except occasionally a fine mist. Londoners lost half our topics of conversation when we fell. Fell with a, like, capital F as well. I like that. Come tomorrow evening, we need to have at least a few census forms filled out. Or I'm going to be the one explaining to Mr. Pages. And if that happens, I'm not going to help you with your employment prospects again. Fair enough. Grace works for the Ministry of Accounting and Recounting. It seems to agree with her. She wears trousers to work and comes home at all hours. It's very important to her, being taken seriously by these employers. The next thing I do is characteristic 2. Compliment her, reassert control, be open and build trust, rely on dark humor. Let's just be open and build trust. Like, let's just be friendly. Allow me to offer my sincere apologies. To be frank, didn't like the look of the city today. Too many dark alleys. On my oath of honor, I will see we have something to turn in. You still have some time tomorrow. She gives me a hard look, as though she could stuff some integrity into a person just by glaring hard enough. What do you think of the questions? I've not read the questions yet, I've only glanced at the sheet of paper. They're written in the most peculiar spiked handwriting, and there are punctures in the paper in random spots. These are as though I think that's her handwriting, jokingly defend my reading ability, admit I haven't read them. A don't like the teasing option, but the other two do speak to me. Like, jokingly defend my reading ability. Like, it's a bit of like, I don't want to be overly defensive as well, so I'm really curious, like, what kind of joke it's gonna be, but it does sound fun. Or just, like, as I just said, like, to be honest, and admit I haven't read them. I'm just gonna be honest with them. At least, I know, although I was curious what the other one would bring, but this is the honest way. Let's go for that. I was going to review them in the morning. By the refreshing dawn light. There's no dawn here. The light tomorrow morning will be the exact same as it is now. The only difference is the angle of the hands on the clock. Ooh, that's a weird thing. Like, they've been here for like a couple of months, but that's gotta be weird to get like used to. Here, try the questions on me. Say you've just knocked on the door and I've come to answer it. Now this... Yes? What do you want? Introduce myself as an agent of the ministry, showing my badge, or read the first question. Of course I'm going to introduce myself first. I hope I find you well this evening. On behalf of the Ministry of Accounting and Recounting, I have a few questions. Oh, how lovely. I'm so grateful these ministries are looking after us. Straightforwardly accept their performance, sarcastically accept, flirtatiously riff on how excellent the ministry is, or read out the first question. I'm just going to accept this performance. Like, she wanted to test me, let's just go with it. To be fair, like, if she wants to test me, to be fair, I haven't done anything yet, so she has every right to. I must say, this doesn't present too much difficulty. Go on then, what's the first question? Read the first question. How many people live in this establishmentation? That's a good word. Establishmentation is not a well-formed word. It has two suffixes, both Latinate. Oh yeah, I really am an arcane scholar, aren't I? Thank you, Professor. If you like, you can translate into questions that are more likely to be understood. Right. How many people live in this establishment? 4. The landlady, Mrs. Horatia Chapman, a young man named Archibald Reed, myself, and a 4th character, very disreputable. Joke that she's not counting the vermin, build trust, suggest that she might not be the picture of respectability herself. Hey, got him. I'm going to joke about the vermin. Like, let's just have some fun with it. You've omitted the basement, which houses more rats than Noah's Ark. So more than 2? Thank you, Chris. Thank you for that. More than 2, you mean? At the end of its voyage, I should have said. Oh, that's fair. That's a good response, me. Well done. Is anyone in this establishment what? Enamorificated or impassioned? What does this even mean? They're asking if anyone here is in love. Just ask that. Is anyone here in love? No. Ask whether she's sure about herself. Ask whether she's sure about me. Ooh, I like that. Be a little mysterious, you know? What, do you know the hidden secrets of my heart? Very well, write down whatever romantic confessions you like. I'll look in the other direction. Preserve your privacy. Ah, at this moment, a second visitor walks in. Oh, is that Archibald? Oh yeah, Archie. Archie is a medical student. He hadn't finished his training before the fall, but he has plenty of work now. I wondered what you were, where you were. Read Archie flirtatiously. Ask Archie what he needs. Oh, this is going to be so, like, it fits in with the conversation we had with Chris, but it's going to be so awkward for Archie. I mean, I do like that accent. I'm just gonna do it. Greet Archie flirtatiously. Hello there, Archie. Couldn't wait to see me at supper then? That wouldn't be why I'm here, I'm afraid. I went this morning to visit a patient, and what do we find pasted up on the wall? The old super broadsheet. There's a new decree from the Ministry of Cartography and Geography that all maps and atlases are to be surrendered to put on the fire. It's your folk making these rules, Grizz. Promise Grizz that we can be trusted with whatever she knows. Suggest Archie leaves the topic alone. Stay well out of this. I think I'm gonna stay out of this for now. I don't know what's going on here. I don't even know what was that word we just had? Like, you had geography and art. Can I, like... Is this like a history thing? Oh no, that's auto. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Can I... Doesn't look like I can see things back. And I just skipped another. I'm doing really well. I've played visual novels before, I swear. So yeah, we missed one sentence, I believe, but the previous one was actually, will you be asking your Mr. Pages about these maps? Mr. Pages expects some loyalty from his people. None of us know what is safe down here underneath. Most likely there are reasons you can't imagine. Jozeevis, please do collect at least a few census forms by tomorrow. At the end of the day, I'll find you and we can take them to Mr. Pages together. And now I'll leave you to the two of you alone. She leaves, grinning like a mad thing, while Archie just looks flustered. I'm just gonna ask him a census question. Like, I know he doesn't like it, but I'm curious to what his response will be. Chris has me gathering census pages for the ministry. Aye, Chris told me it was some such thing. Archibald Reed, Matters of the Heart, Employment. Let's just start with employment. Let's not dive in immediately, right? Relying what I already know, flirtatiously ask what Archie does for money. Put the query, making it clear this is for the census. Let's just be professional to start with, at least. Let's find out where this goes. What should I put it on census as your overall employment? I did sell off a couple of my old atlases just today. Censored maps sell for a good price if you know the right buyer. Ferret's vermin eradication takes in more than just rats. New location discovered, Ferret's shop. Ferret is the local menace eradicator, and there's significant need for their services lately. Rats, moles, spiders, destruction and disposal. Oh god, I really hope we're not gonna find these spiders. I know there's like a lot of spiders in this world. Like, Sunless Sea had it was a really cool location. It was like a, what do you call it? Like a shipwreck that was just filled with spiders, and I was terrified of it. So yeah, I hope we're not gonna find too many spiders here today, but we'll find out. Anything else you need for the Wii form? Ask him a census question. Check on how he's feeling. Get some sleep. I am curious on how he's feeling. How are you feeling? In the cave oppressing... Is the cave oppressing you too much? Worse than Grizz, I won't lie. Seems there's no road out here. Food from the masters is a wee reprieve, but when you think of all else that might kill us below, scurvy and the like. A great hook and rock fell in a house in Sodok. Swordwood... Oh, this is too British for me. I can't pronounce these names. Did the roof in and near there killed the whole household. But I best be quiet, lest to give you nightmares too. And I'm fair out a lot of them to help with the sleep. Ooh. Let's just continue with the census. Hey, let's go for a little bit more light-hearted topic, shall we, Archie? Ask flirtatiously about his romantic commitments. Ask making it clear this is for the census. Ask using the exact wording of the original census question. Ooh. Also, like, these icons, they probably mean that, like, I asked these... Like, some of this is based on what I'm wearing. Like the hat, for example, because the hat, like, allowed me to be more flirtatious, so maybe that's where these come from. That's using the exact wording of the original census question. You know what? Ask flirtatiously. Like, even if nothing comes of it, maybe it'll cheer him up a bit. If a person took a fancy to you, would they be faced with any competition? Oh, that's a fun way to ask it. Down here, nah. What about before our advent into the Neve? I was a lass back home, and what did me mother do but promise me to her? Encourage him to go on, suggest he might prefer a more local alternative. Keep my opinions to myself. I'll go on. That sounds like a tale. What happened? Yeah, it's not so uncommon, I think. My mother was friends with the lass's parents. They were getting on in years. Not married, and of course the whole village knew her business. So my mother said she'd fix it up between us next time I were home. But I've not been back since. Seemed to me I ought to wait till I was finished with my studies. Might have a better look to it. Well, that's everything I need. Sleep well then, will ya? 2:30. 2:31. Day since the fall? Hey, there we go. Season of Confessions. Ooh. What does that mean? Well, let's find out. The newspapers aren't what they used to be, but someone is still printing broadsheets these days. Archie bought one and the headlines read, "Renowned scientists pronounce as recent events result of volcanic activity, sun filled and ash." Sun filled and ash. Ooh. Recall the past, change outfit, or head outside. Also, again, this music, it's great. I just every time a new music comes on like this, it's like, ooh, yes, I love this. Okay, so not really much change on our outfit. We could head outside, get some more senses, which is what we're supposed to do. I'm not sure what recall the past even means. Maybe let's just look at that. Oh, this will just tell us what happened to London exactly. Oh, that's cool. I mean that's a nice little introduction to the world, I guess. Also, this image, holy hell! I'm always reliving London's last night on the surface. To try to put it out of my head, but it's still there. The dimming of the sun at 3 in the afternoon, the sky turning the color of rust, a horrible bang and a cloud of dust from the direction of Westminster, the tolling of the bells. The horseman who rode down the street, liveried at the liveried, I think. Oh, whatever. Liveried in the garb of the palace, shouting, "In Her Majesty's name, go indoors." And then the sky was full of bats, more bats than Egypt had locusts, wheeling, shrieking, defecating. People went indoors then if they'd ignored the criers. Those that had no house crowded into the churches and under the bridges. Even now, I don't understand. Why Parliament collapses? How Her Majesty knew to send criers? That bats could behave in so strange a way. Ooh. I mean, I don't know why Parliament collapsed, but this sounds particularly interesting. Why were there criers about? How did Her Majesty know to send criers? I'm gonna go for that. I'm curious about that. Obviously, everything is a mystery. I'm curious about everything, but I'm gonna go for that one. This palace has been shuttered since that day. The royal family do not emerge. Ah yeah, the shuttered palace, I remember that. Surely if they had known this was coming, they would have departed London. It was only the city that fell. The rest of England, we assume, remains above. Well, we don't have any word from, like, the lands above as well. Wow. I reckon it's a tornado. I've heard of something similar in the Welsh Hills back to 1760. No light in the sky and a noise like a thunderclap. That's no tornado, love. It's a plague of Egypt. Horatia was our landlord, right? I let them talk, I intervened before they annoyed one another. I sent a pleading look at Grizz. I'm just gonna go like, we don't know what's going on, we're in a stressful situation, I'm gonna try to keep everybody happy. Let's intervene. The newspapers will tell us in the morning what it was. Leastwise, it'll make a good story for the letters home. Glasgow will be envious of our London fashions. And the ground shook again and the pipes rattled on the wall. I believe we can blame Mr. Bazoget's excavations digging about under London, causing a seismic disturbance. Ooh. And what did he find doing there but a cave of 3 million bats? Is that what you reckon? There are stranger things beneath London. That was the beginning of it. We were down there for hours and hours. The sky darkened and didn't return to normal. Once, around midnight, Chris went upstairs and opened the door to the street, which came right back down again. She said the cobbles were galloping about. It wasn't safe to walk outside. After that first bit, the memories collide and get confused. I have trouble keeping track of which came first and which came later, and whether I'm imagining something. I spend a lot of days like this, thinking back, trying to piece together the bits of the puzzle. As if I could realize something that could make sense of it all. Interesting. Oh, hey there, Andy Moetry. My Friday is going great. Very excited to be playing this game. How are you doing today? Yeah, so in the meanwhile, let's head outside. Gather some census data, shall we? Ooh, we can choose where to go as well. Boarding house, that's like our house, presumably. St. Albans Proto-Martyr. Okay. This looks like a church of some kind. Yeah, just a little bit windy. I actually had plans for tonight, but I couldn't go because the trains aren't going anymore, so that's fun. And ferret shop. Oh, we heard about that from Archie. Let's go to the church. I'm curious about that. St. Albans Proto-Martyr. St. Alban was the first English martyr, a point of considerable pride to the local vicar. It's the church of our parish. Collect census information from the vicar. Yeah, let's do that. Vicar probably knows quite a bit about what's been going on here, right? St. Albans Proto-Martyr. This is the closest church to Horatius. I've been a frequent parishioner. I've come occasionally, but not often enough to be known. I've never darkened its door before. Let's say I come occasionally. Just check it out. Ooh. I see the masters are meddling with the affairs of the church. Introduce myself as an agent of the ministry. Introduce myself and reveal that my family were scholars and churchmen. Introduce myself flirtatiously. Yeah, the train system is it's not too good. At the very least, like I mean, obviously, it's really annoying that they're not going today, but at the very least, they were like, you know, a day early with announcing that instead of just like you're sitting in the train. It's like, oh yeah, we're not going anymore. We're just stuck here for 3 hours or whatever, because that's usually what happens. Are we going to introduce ourselves as an agent of the ministry? Because the very first thing Theophilus said makes it very clear they don't like the masters of the ministry, so... Feel that my family were scholars and churchmen. Introduce myself flirtatiously. Okay, I'm not going to flirt with the vicar. For now. Also look at the bed. Introducing myself as an agent of the ministry. You know what? I'm just gonna go for the second one. Let's start like that. They know I'm here for the ministry. I'm wearing the badge, but... Jozeevis here. In happier times, I had the honor to come from a family who were scholars and churchmen. Though I have noticed no one is as great a stickler about introductions as they used to be. Aha. As for a theological explanation of recent events, choose a question from my notebook. Throughout this conversation, do that. Let's just go for the questions. I'm not matters of heart, household organization, or employment. I think the employment's pretty clear, right? I mean, I guess we should ask. Maybe we should start with household organization. That sounds pretty like standard. Employment is really a question that's gonna be like we're gonna ask it, and he's gonna be like. What do you think? Oh, well, let's try this. Flirtatiously ask, open the topic by volunteering information about myself. Ask, making clear this is for the census. I mean, it is for the census, let's just be honest about that. The census asks me to record whether you live alone. I live alone in the rooms provided for the vicar of this parish. There is a woman who comes twice a week to clean, what I was. Her visits have been more erratic of late. Okay, well that's good to know. Let's go for another question. Let's just get employment out of the way. Yep, asked jokingly about Theophilus' work. I almost fear to ask about your employment. Half the neighborhood have adopted some criminal enterprise. From time to time, I've considered offering myself as a tutor to some enterprising pupils. My Greek and Latin grow rusty, but I never put the plan into practice. Now, as we see, the education of the young is no longer our primary concern in the best houses. Okay. Matters of the heart. Flirtatiously. Use my knowledge of him to bring up the topic. Open the subject by volunteering information about myself or ask me glitch for a sentence. Use my knowledge of him, I guess? You seem like someone who would have a wife, just as efficient as yourself, helping to oversee the parish. Oh, got very excited there for a second. I was married. The lady was 2 or 3 years older than myself. Very sensible and capable woman. Her name was Anne. Was, though. Back of what might be a sensitive subject. I'm gonna be interested, right? Like, Anne Witherwink is no longer with you? It is sad, but not unusual tale. I certain that I'm safe to confide in, appeal to the expectations of the church, leave the question as it stands. Let's go with that. Like, you can trust me. Anne died giving birth to her first child. The baby did not survive her by more than a few days. I'd hoped to be reunited with them in the hereafter, but we see what the hereafter has proven to be, at least in my case. It seems the Almighty has deemed me unworthy. Oh, challenges the... Oh, god, this is going to be a deep conversation if we wanted to. Challenges theological interpretation, share my most similar experience, or do not presume to comment. I think I kind of like that latter. Like, you know, clearly this man's, like, thought about this a lot, and I'm not here to, like, question his beliefs right now, right? I'm just here to ask census questions. Oh yeah, and the emoji. I do like to 100% these games, or at least run through them multiple times. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it with the demo. It kind of depends on how long it is. And if I'm just going to wait until the full game is released. But most of the time when I'm playing visual novels or anything that has like multiple endings, I do like to go for multiple ones. So yeah, do not presume to comment. I say nothing. I came to London afterwards at the invitation of a friend, a fellow who went into orders around the same time. He supposed a change of scenery would suit me, and it did for a number of years. Now I admit I would give a great deal to be back in East Riding. That's fair, that's fair. Ooh, that was a carriage. Something landed on the roof. Oh. Looks down at us through the gaping hole above. Its eyes are glittering. Bad. Make light of this obvious danger. Point out it's far, far too large to be a bat. Admit to being afraid of the thing. We haven't had any reason to, like, be especially afraid of the bats, right? Except for that, like, they were there present at the fall and there was, like, a lot of them, but... I mean, it's both, like, make light of the obvious danger or admit to being afraid. So clearly we're supposed to be afraid of bats. That's what we get out of this, but... Point out it's far, far too large to be a bat. Are bats just freakishly large down here? I'm not actually sure. Yeah, I also think it's a lot of fun to just find, like, little details in games like this. Especially, like, often when you have games like this with, like, multiple endings or such, where you replay them. Like, very early on, you can suddenly see, like, hints to what's to come down the line or stuff, and I really like seeing that. Recently, I played a game, it wasn't a visual novel, but it's honestly a pretty weird game, but, like, not for broadcast, where you play, like, a broadcast engineer for a news program. It's a really fun game. Like, I would definitely recommend checking it out. But it also has, like, multiple endings, and playing through the beginning multiple times, it was really cool to see, like, what kind of things they done that kind of set up things for later. It was really cool. Yeah, you can try it out for free as well. There's, like, also a demo. I think it's called the Prologue on Steam, so it's pretty cool. I'm just gonna point out that this is far too large for a bat, just to see where that brings us. It's larger than a bat I've ever seen. Larger than an eagle, come to that. A gargoyle? An imp? It's landed there a few times before, especially when the choir is practicing. Suggested it's drawn to the music. Let's just keep the conversation going. Let's not worry about this thing too much. Perhaps it is musically inclined. Just as well, the opera has been suspended in that case. It might have carried off half of society by now. Oh, that's a good noise. The thing up there is gone. Oh, it was a good noise. The Tented Ground synagogue's in better condition than our little church. I've wondered whether that signifies the direction of divine approval. Ooh, new location discovery. The Tented Ground Synagogue. An old synagogue and one that has weathered the fall very well. Okay. Check out that as well. Let's see where Theophilus gets this conversation now. I should finish preparing my sermon. It was good of you to stop in. Lord, see you safely home again. Oh, one more errand today before supper. So are we going to go to the synagogue or are we going to go to the, what was it called again? Ferret shop? Ooh, Just Cause 3. I've never played any of the Just Cause games, but they do look like a lot of fun. Is Just Cause 3 the last one, or was there 4 as well? I don't remember. I'm curious about the synagogue. Let's just go there. Look for census candidates near the synagogue. Okay, there is a 4, but 3. Yeah, well, if 3 is more fun, just yeah, only 4 achievements. Like, I would assume like a game like that probably has a lot of achievements, right? So you're probably pretty far along then. They peer over my badge. I'm not familiar with that ministry. It's new. We're on our way to services, so this is not a suitable time for ministry business. Wait here. I'll speak with this person, won't take long. I'm just going to introduce myself as an agent of the ministry. Like, they know I'm from the ministry, let's just go there. Jozeevis here, agent for the Ministry of Accounting and Recounting. David and Rochelle Landau. Why did I say Rochelle? I guess we're keeping that. Rochelle's my sister. What can we do for you? Explain that I'm working for the Ministry on the census. Present the census, though, were my own IDs. Simply say that I have questions. No, let's just say it. Ministry has a census. The Ministry of Accounting and Recounting have asked me to work on the census. I'll answer your questions, Jozeevis, if you answer mine. Call it character research. Are you having peculiar dreams down there? The minute I am having peculiar dreams, talk up the lurid misery of my dreams. Mention that Archie has patients with just this complaint. Ooh, probably shouldn't talk about Archie's patients, right? That's probably bad. I'm just gonna say, yeah, I am having peculiar dreams as well. Yes, from time to time. Of a land of thick green jungle and an orange sun high above. Of colors you don't see in a waking life. Yes, sometimes. People miss sunlight and foliage, so they dream of that. It's like being hungry and dreaming of cream cakes. I know what that feels like. Do you see a bird with 7 heads? No. Go ahead with your questions, Jozeevis. Ask what she means about character research. Choose a question from my notebook. I am curious what this character research is. Is she like a writer or what? What did you mean when you said you had a question about character research? I write novels. There they go. They are published, 1 chapter at a time, in the Lily of London magazine. Oh, yeah. It's interesting that, like, the Steam achievements are more, that there are more Steam achievements than 100%ing the game. Are these, like, really, like, obscure achievements that you really, like, have to go out of your way to get, or what? I was in the midst of one when the fall happened. My publisher insisted that I continued the story despite all. Rachel, are you certain you want to share so much? Does it matter? Surely those precautions are behind us. That's what the story's about. Ask about the inspiration to become a novelist. I guess I'm just going to go for the census now. Like, that's what we're here for, right? Oh, I can choose who to ask as well. Oh, yeah, of course I know about her employment, so I don't ask there. Let's ask him about his employment. Like, that's a pretty natural way to do the conversation, right? Ask making clear for the census. For the census, what is your employment? We have money in the funds and interested several businesses in London and elsewhere. The time was when I used to be very busy in answering letters from Livorno, from Amsterdam. These days, my time is not so extensively occupied. No one speaks for a moment. Rachel brings up a legend, common amongst the servant classes, that the Need contains many other fallen cities. They say if you travel far enough through the cave, you'll find the ruins of Kitez. If you walk 3 times the the circumference of the cave counterclockwise, you'll come to the palace of the Queen of Sheba. No one has discovered even one edge of the cave yet. She's not meant to be easy to find. Be flirtatiously receptive to the still. What does that mean? Flirtatiously receptive to the till? What? Ask questions at all the necessary moments. Choose a question from my notebook. At all the necessary moments. I like that. Just keep the conversation going, right? I follow up with suitable inquiries. It seems only polite. He looks just the slightest bit less guarded. Oh yeah, nice, okay. Nothing for the moment. I'm gonna ask more questions. Let's ask him about his household organization. I don't know if they live together. Yeah, aspect, it's clear for the census. For the census, who lives in your household? Our home contains myself, my brother, and our housekeeper. It isn't a grand establishment. We had a Jewish housekeeper for many years, but she passed away, and Phoebe had lost her place with a neighbor of ours. There's a short silence. Rachel turns the subject to a rumor she heard concerning the eye color of bats. Oh. What is be flirtatiously receptive to her tail? Especially when we're talking about the eye color of bats. I'm going to click this because I want to know. I do find you fascinating. Okay, well, yeah, that's one way to be flirtatious about it. Wasn't expecting that one. She glances at him and looks mildly embarrassed. Okay, well, let's continue asking her questions. So I guess we know, are they... Oh, and this is for the housekeeper. What's the name of the housekeeper? Yeah, let's go there. Ask about our housekeeper rudely. We haven't got that option yet. Not gonna pick it either. I don't want to be rude. I just met these people. For the census, who's your housekeeper? She's called Phoebe. She has been with us for years. She's an Irish woman, Catholic in a quiet way, with no relatives in London. My mother offered her the position as a kindness when she was destitute. And her surname? Phoebe Riley. Oh yes, of course, that's it. Pray don't tell her I had briefly forgotten. How mortifying. It will make no difference. She's not under any illusion that you are interested in her family. Ooh! Okay, let them continue arguing a moment. Choose a question from my notebook. I don't want to interrupt. But I also don't want them to continue arguing, so... I guess I'll just continue asking questions. I mean, Matters of the Heart will be a pretty disarming question, I assume. Who am I going to ask it to? I also like that it says that, Phoebe is not present. I think I'm gonna ask it to him. Because he, just made a snide remark and just gonna be like, hey, by the way, do you fancy anyone? It's like... ask making clear for his senses, ask flirtatiously, or ask whether David has any romantic commitments currently. I'm gonna ask it flirtatiously, because I think that would be more disarming. Are you married or otherwise promised? Is that flirtatious? Oh, not recently. I was in love once, or so I imagined. Charlotte, she and David had an understanding. She converted, in any case. Becoming Christian suited her social aspirations. Rochelle. Because for some reason I was going there. Yes, I take leave to dislike your unworthy suitors as hardly as you dislike mine. Milton is a yellow-eyed, flesh-dressed, hot-handed creature at least 2 decades too old for my sister. I hardly think he and Charlotte are comparable. Okay. I do want to find out more about this Rochelle's unsuitable friend. Oh dear, the rules of polite society have broken somewhat in the fall, haven't they? Nothing of the sort. Milton is an artistic inspiration. If you are not a writer yourself, Jozeevis, you cannot guess how much the fall has disrupted our sort of work. Characters have certain tastes, certain preferences, certain prejudices. All I need to do is imagine them in new circumstances, and their reactions write themselves. But now, we've all been at least a little bit cracked by the fall. How does anyone behave? Who can say? You always said you wrote from observation. You can still observe. Since the fall, there's no pattern in what I see. It is only home that makes sense to me, and I cannot make my whole novel about a brother and sister lighting candles at Shabbat. Ask why not out of curiosity, or hold my tongue. I am gonna ask why not. Why not? My publisher wouldn't tolerate it. The Lily of London wouldn't print it. The rest of the world must come into it somehow. Milton helps me sort the rest of the world. He can make sense of anything. Even a oh god. Viscountess? Viscountess. Yeah. Viscountess. Running down the street in her... You gotta stop throwing me these words, game. Why did I choose to play a Feel Better game on stream? Like, I know they have words like this. That's how they always write. Oh my... I did this to myself, and I completely accept that. Peignoir? Probably? I don't even know what that is. I'm gonna look this up. Peignoir. Oh. Right, that's what it is. Is that what it's called? Well, I've never heard that word in my life. Anyway, that's the least confusing thing that has happened since we arrived here. Let me say, Jozeevis, Milton smokes rose-scented cigars. He helps me. Take her and Milton's side, encourage him to further gossip. Or choose a question from my notebook. Oh, by the way, so yeah, that were your, like, romantic prospects. How about Charlotte? Tell me more about Charlotte, eh? Oh, wait, I can still ask about Rochelle's. Oh, I guess let's ask her then. Making clear for the census. Married, betrothed, are you in love? No, I wouldn't say that. Milton is only a friend. Oh, okay. Just as well, too. In the times before, you would never have darkened the door of such a person. Okay, David, you need to chill, my dude. I think as soon as I'm gonna stop talking, like they were going to service, right? So I probably should just continue asking questions. Yeah, ask for the census. That's Phoebe. Why did I say Charlotte before? Who's Charlotte? Oh, whatever. The census asks that I record whether Phoebe has a romantic interest. Husband? Lover? Not so far as I've ever seen. I don't think she meets someone even on her days off. There's a fleeting, unreadable expression on his face, but it doesn't contradict his sister. Oh. Contrive to speak to him alone, take my leave, say nothing for a moment. Like, I don't know if this means, like, he's been, you know, hanging out with Phoebe, or if he knows something that she doesn't and he doesn't want her to know. Maybe it's about Milton? No, that wouldn't matter, right? Because he's only a friend to her? Let's contrive to speak to him alone, see if we can find a way to figure out what's happening here. Thank you very much, you've been a great help. Look after yourself, friend. Yes, this has been instructive. They turn, but I catch his eye and stop him from going. Well? I think there was something you wanted to tell me about Phoebe, something you did not want her to hear. He pauses. I have the sense he's choosing his words. She doesn't have visitors to the house, and she rarely goes out even on her days off. We don't forbid her, but she shows no inclination, except on occasion to attend mass. There's nothing very much to know. Oof. I apologize, I must excuse myself, I've been ill lately. Everything is always running too slowly, and yet every day is the same. Well, that sounds like a pretty reasonable state to be in after your entire city has fallen down. It's nearly time for supper. Grizz is waiting for me. Whatever census forms you have ready, it is time to take them to Mr. Page's. Said I'm ready, ask if we couldn't have supper instead. I mean, it's been a long day, I guess I would ask. Now? I'm famished. Mr. Pages has been expecting these all day. He's eager to see what you've made of the collection. Once I've shown you how to reach the ministry, you can come back on your own and turn in others. Chris has me gather my papers. With luck, Mr. Pages will decide to keep you on. And with that, she leads me outside and down a side street that is no longer named. Interesting. So yeah, let's meet Mr. Pages, shall we? The way is serpentine, through streets that do not seem to lead towards the spires at the center of the city. But each time I look up, it is closer. The spired building on the horizon. Is that building? Oh, well, there it goes. Probably, right? Like these spires? Could also be like any of these, to be honest. But, well, let's find out. Finally, we find ourselves standing in its shadow, under its walls. Before us is a lower door that once, I think, belonged to a solicitor's office. Chris takes out a key, made of something other than metal, and unlocks that door. Ooh, what's on the table there? Ooh. Mind the pile of papers. I've already sorted them 3 times. Mr. Pages is very particular about the ordering of documents. Now, where has he gone? Usually he's here by this time of day. Oh, well, there he is. Ah, there you are, sir. We were just coming to bring you the census documents. A first installment of many, I'm sure. Mr. Pages, may I present Jozeevis? Jozeevis, this is Mr. Pages. The whole Ministry of Accounting and Recounting is under Mr. Page's direction. Acknowledge introduction, express gratitude for the job, stand well back and make no sudden moves. To be fair, if like this suddenly showed up in like my boss's office, I would be like, no sudden moves. It can spot you if you don't move. But no, I'm going to express gratitude for the job. Like, you know, they did give me a job and I am very thankful for that. Thank you very much for offering me employment. The opportunities in London aren't what they used to be. Chris assures us that they are improvicated. Okay, so it's definitely Mr. Page who wrote the census questions, that's clear. It is highly satisfactory that the populace of London appreciates their move. Ask whether Mr. Page had something to do with the fall. Wait, what? Let that pass without comment or bow deeply. Gratifactory for that the populace of London appreciates their move. I'm not gonna just ask like, hey, did you have something to do with the fall? Like, what kind of question is that? I'm just gonna let it pass without comment. I don't see any reason for bowing. I mean, I guess out of thanks, but I'm not, yeah, whatever. Doesn't seem that a reply is required. This is pacificated towards silence, I see. Perhaps a clerk better suited to Mr. Iron. What have you brought us? And over a finished census page about Archie, Rachel, David, Phoebe, or Theophilus. Let's start with... I mean, Archie lives with us, right? Let's start there. Ah, most satisfactory. There are secrets here. It gives me 2 shiny pennies for my trouble. Ooh, money. I turn one over and it has a portrait of the back of someone who is certainly not the queen. The face on the back of the coin stares at me until the hair prickles on my neck. It reminds me of a debt owed, and I don't want to remember. And my breath hitches and slows and resumes. I'm holding 2 pennies now. We did not expect much from Archie. Under Khan Grizz having already revelated that he is a lightless character. Under Khan? What? What kind of title is that? What else is there? Or is that just their name? It sounds like a title. Maybe that's just me. So we have Rachel, David, Phoebe was... Oh yeah, that was the housekeeper for them. And let's just go in order that we met them. Pages offers me 2 pennies from a jar, bringing my stash to 4. There are other coins in there, and a few things that aren't even coins. Buttons, pearls, probably false. A horse head carved from ivory or bone. The quality of your information impresses us this time. Riz specificated the existence of holy men who were wedded to the church. This one appears to have been wedded to a woman. Only. A disappointment, though we thank you. It might have been something more. It contemplates the final sheet of the census form again. Do you have anything more? Let's start with... Yeah, let's go Rachel, David, Phoebe. Just like that, that's the literal order it gives me. Mr. Pages takes the census pages and eagerly spends some time scanning it. Whatever it finds, it considers impressive enough to offer us 2 pennies. Got 6 pennies now, we rich boys. It is, I think, disappointed all the same. There's something it is looking for that it cannot find. It looks through the sheets of the form in its usual way. It doesn't find much interested in the account of Rachel's romantic life. It is much more intrigued by her employment. She invents love stories from nothing? There are any number of novels printed every year in London. The price of paper was recently reduced. These stories we will acquire. Wait, Mr. Page is gonna buy romance books? Oh, I already love them. If they are suitable, then we will also acquire the authoress. Suggest that hire might be a more suitable term than acquire. Mention that Rachel's works can be purchased in serial form. Yeah, you know what? I am going to say, like, maybe acquire is a weird word to use here. Because it is. Surely you mean to hire the authoress? You refer to mere employment or rentification. No. Do you have anything more? Okay, that's creepy. That's creepy, Mr. Pages. Let's talk about David. Mr. Pages pays. Then it puts the census page in a stack of others, much like it. It weighs the stack down with a paperweight. Is that what we just saw? Was it just a paperweight? It was like smoking. If I look too hard at the paperweight, my eyes sting. Okay, that does sound like the thing we were looking at. It seems he cares for his sister more than for any other. Do you have anything more? Oh, we have Phoebe. This form merits 2 pennies. She seems a very small person. More like a dog. What a horrid thing to say. It is a horrid thing to say, Mr. Page. What the hell? You would not agree? No! You do not think she is smaller than yourself? That's not... I will not replicate the statement in the future. Thank you, I suppose. Ask Mr. Pages a few questions. Let's go. The census, maps and cartography. Let's start with the census, and I'm also curious about maps and cartography. I don't think... Oh no, it was under his supervision. That's what Archie said, at least. So yeah, let's start with the census, at least. Ask what the census is for. Ask what the romance accounts are about. Turn the conversation to other matters. I mean, I guess Mr. Pages is just a romance buff. But, just start with, what's the census for? What are you doing with the census information? All of London's older records were destroyed in the fall. Not destroyed. Rendered less than utilificacious. Utilification. Ah, that was pretty okay, yeah. Holy hell, why? Many of the people counted are deceased. Moreover, the older records are omissionary. Perhaps it was time for such a thing. My uncle always said that parliamentary procedures have the dust of the Tudors on them. If not of King Alfred. Ask how long the food will last. Ask what the Roman accounts are about. Let's go for the Romans accounts. I'm curious about that. Why are you asking people about their romantic situations? Are you planning any related laws or regulations? I can't imagine that. You may consider the love stories remunerant. In exchange for our generosity in the matter of food and clothing. As for the stories have to be true, because he was also interested in Rachel's stories. Oh wait, there was another option that was different from what we just had, I believe. Is it important that these tales be truthful? London is full of fiction. There are more novels published every year, and half the accounts in the newspapers are likely false as well. One might experimentulate. Let's cover whether Mr. Page is looking for tales of a saucy variety. Definitely gonna ask that. Going to conversation to other matters or ask how long the food will last. Let's keep in this, ask how long the food will last. I am curious and I hope it's okay, but also let's talk about saucy romance stories first. Are there any particular details that would enhance the pleasure of these tales? Yes. If you are able to convey the flavor of the hearts and the resistance to the tooth. Okay, metaphorically. Sure. I'm talking about teeth and... How long does the food last, actually? If the ministry has supplies of food, where did they come from? How many more months will it feed us? The census may provide us with a better understanding of requirements. Oh, that's fair, that's fair. There are methods of additional acquisition. It is not value official for the people of London to starve. That's good to know, I guess. That's great! Chris accompanies me out again when it is time to go. As we make our way back to Horatia, she asks me what I think of Mr. Pages. Well, certainly a character, right? Also, the visuals of this game is it's great. Just how well the characters fit in with the backgrounds and stuff. It's really cool. She tries to make it sound like an idly curious question. Make light of Paige's tailoring challenges. Wow. Wow. Promise to keep up with the job at least till something better comes along. Thank her for arranging this post. Yeah, I think, like, on the one hand, I do want to make fun of Paige's tailoring challenges. That's just funny. But I also don't want to make too much fun of, like, because she wants me to take it seriously, right? So maybe I don't want to do that. But maybe this non-committal thing is worse in that regard. I don't know. Let's just make fun of him. Let's just make fun of Mr. Pages, shall we? I tell her that I feel Mr. Pages must be a boon to rope makers throughout London. She replies that, judging by the ink stains, she does not think he replaces his wardrobe terribly often. He a stinky boy. The rest of the walk is taken up with speculation about Mr. Page's taste in gloves and boots. Before we go back inside the house, she reminds me, you have many more people in the neighborhood to survey for the census. You know how it's done now, so you can collect them and take them to Mr. Pages yourself. I have other duties, and I may not always be there, but Pages is, well, I'm certain you won't be harmed if you visit the ministry on your own. Well, you're more sure about that than I am. Ask neutrally whether Grizz has feelings for Pages. Silently conclude that she's an interest in Pages. Well, that's fair. Who wouldn't have an interest in that? Like, but, I mean, romantic interest, like, that's there, but, like, I'm curious about the man at the very least. Silently conclude. Something in the tone of her voice. It's time to go home. Oh, and I have 9 beautiful pennies now. Archie's already at the table when I arrive. When he sees me come in, he gives a guilty start and scoops some of the stew back into his tureen. Took more than I'd right to, but I've not eaten yet. Apologies. So nothing, but don't have any stew. Sniff at what's in the tureen, shrug and take a bite. Let's go eat. I'm too hungry to decline my dinner just because I took a sojourn in someone else's bowl. There was a lass who asked me to come round and look at her brother, a Jewish family. They usually go to their own doctor, but he's out of service or ran away, something in that ilk. Oh wait, this is Archie. Wait, for some reason, she was like Horatio moving. And suddenly I realized, wait, the doctor, wait, that's Archie. But she was moving, so I thought she was talking. Their old synagogue was destroyed in the fall, so they've moved to the underground synagogue. Rachel and David Landau. David has a stomach complaint. Chronic. Perhaps they have trouble cooking anything palatable. It isn't easy these days with what we have. Sister's a beauty. She wouldn't leave the room while I saw to her brother. Ask what Rachel was doing, ask what David was doing, keep quiet. Guess ask what David was doing? Will the brother live? Oh aye, for a bit I thought it might be serious. But what he needs is his stomach settled. Tell unnerving stories about meeting Grizz's employer. Choose a question from my notebook. Wait, what? I guess I can ask her questions? I am going to, like, when I come home from having met Mr. Pages, I'm going to talk about Mr. Pages. Chris took me to the ministry. Her employer wears a cloak like a highwayman, and he keeps offices like a solicitor. Oh yes. Is the ministry very grand? I wouldn't say grand so much as extremely unnerving. They must be well-to-do if they have food enough to feed all of London. I'm not sure Chris is wise to work there. I've not liked the sound of them. It does sound unusual. I admit, some of Chris's story give me a turn, but you mustn't be too quick to judge. These people at the ministry might have different ways from ours. Yeah, let's ask a question from my notebook. Yeah, Horatia. I mean, does she have any employment aside from, like, running this household? I guess she was, like, the landlady, right? Yeah, rely on what I already know. Horatia has been landlady of this boarding house since long before I got here. That's her whole business. When I came here, there was a sign in the window. 2 meals a day in a clean room. By now, supper is finished. Horatia stands and begins putting the dishes away. Ooh, so we didn't finish that questionnaire, right? 232 days since the fall. So that's like couple of months. I mean, it did say specific months when we started the game, but it's like, we're in the 8th month now, I guess, and it was like October or something, I believe. Anyway, I am now going to take a quick break just to get some water because, well, especially doing Mr. Page's voice, did something on my throat. So yeah, I'm gonna get some water. I will be back in a couple of seconds. And I'm back. Yeah, let's continue. Really liking the game so far. I'm curious how long the demo will last. Like, if something like big will happen, or if it's just going to go like this for a while and just like live our lives. Despite everything, there are still broadsheets printed. This morning's lies open on the table. Ministry of Accounting and Recounting calls on citizens to cooperate in ongoing census. Ooh, I can recall more of the past, eh? Or just head outside. Let's recall more of the past. I'm curious about that. Is it going to talk about like... So we had like... I guess we had the start of the day. We didn't actually hear anything about the fall. I remember the days of the fall and fragments. I remember the days as well. There are a few moments that I'm always drawn back to. Memories that stand for everything else that happened. There are things I sometimes remember from that night that cannot have happened. Impossible things. If I concentrate, I can recall. Constable Harji had checked on us that night. I think Gris did say something about her family name. I glimpsed something in a bit of mirror. Oh, the one thing I do remember. I was talking earlier about like, I hope we're not going to see any spiders. Mirrors and mirrors had like a whole lot of mystery in Fall in London, but they also had an amount to do with spiders. So on the one hand, I'm very curious what we're gonna see here, and on the second hand, I'm a little bit afraid. I'm also curious about Constable Harjeet, because we haven't heard that name yet. Which one shall we do? I mean, it's probable that like we will meet Constable Harjeet at another time, and we might not find out what we glimpsed in a bit of mirror. So let's go for that one and hope for the best. I remember looking into a bit of mirror glass and seeing a Chinese woman. At least I think she might have been Chinese, gazing back at me. She was sitting in a palace with floodwater rising around her, and the water was the color of milk. She looked frightened when she saw me, and then she was gone. All that, maybe it was a dream, maybe I dozed off in the middle of that long night, but it doesn't feel like a dream. I can still see the embroidery of her jacket, the blue-black ink stains on her fingers when she had been writing. Ooh, interesting. So that's probably one of the other cities. Or maybe she's just somebody else in this city, or not. Could be. Let's head outside, shall we? I guess we still have like Ferret's shop to go to. Oh yeah, we can also go... Oh, the bazaar. The ministry offices are tucked up snugly into that unexplained and very un-English tower. Find my way there when Gris is not present. Go when Gris will be there. Oh, interesting. How do I... No, I don't want to... Okay, so that's how I go back. Boarding house. Oh, yeah, we can. Oh, wait. Find Harjeet outside and ask him. Sends questions. Find Horatia. Ask Gris sends questions before she leaves for work. Okay, interesting. I wonder if the time of day, like, changes things as well. Collect sends information from the menace eradicator. Let's finish up with... I am curious about Harjeet, but maybe we can still do that in the afternoon. Let's find Horatia first and finish that census. Horatia owns our rooming house. We were all living with her when London fell. I am indebted to Horatia. Since the fall, I haven't always had the funds to pay for my room and board. She provided for me anyways. If there's anything to eat, I'm always welcome to join the other lodgers. She's never said a word in front of the other guests. You know Gris has me filling out the census information for the ministry? It's been hard to miss Jozeevis. I've had an earful from her grumbling about how you hadn't started yet. Joke about Chris's high standard. Admit that I should have worked faster. To be fair, we had a day left. We should have worked faster. I am going to admit that. That's fair. I should have begun sooner. Sometimes down here, it doesn't feel as though time moves normally. Well, I feel that. Every day is like every other. If you can't even call it a day when there's no sunrise. I feel it too, love. It isn't easy to stand where she does, Jozeevis. The masters weigh her by how useful she is to them. While she serves them well, all of us gain. But there will come a time where she has no more to give them. Comment that I'm not entirely sure that masters are men. Acknowledge the point, return to the matter of the senses. I mean, I'm not entirely sure. I'm just going to acknowledge the point, I think. I don't think there's any, like, specific reason why I would be like, hey, do you think, like, the masters are, like, maybe not entirely human? And she's gonna be like, well, yeah, maybe, I don't know. Right? There's no way to tell. So I'm just going to acknowledge the point, like, she's right about Chris. That's likely true. I came down here to ask you some questions for the census, in fact. Ask away if I have a full basket of mending to get through and I'd rather talk than listen to the clock tick. Okay. Guess we only have the matters of the heart left for her. Rely on what I already know. Flirtatiously ask whether Horatia had many suitors when she was younger. Ask, making it clear for the census. I'm going to choose this one. What's your romantic life like then, Horatia? The butcher at the corner asked me a few times to be his wife. Couldn't say I was tempted. He had 7 children from his marriage before. I believe he was more attracted to the extra rooms in my house than to me. Well, I guess that was our conversation. I think that will do for now. Thanks, Horatia. Oh, while you are here. This morning I was in the basement checking our supplies. But I found a couple of rats down there reading the labels. They were sounding out the words. Calmly accept that animals now speak English. React as though she can't be serious or just panic. Honestly, I don't know which is funnier here. Just calmly accept that animals now speak English is very funny to me. But I'm also want to be like, give a little bit of pushback maybe. I'm just going to calmly accept that animals now speak English. Just be like, oh, you know, London fell down. There's bats everywhere now. I guess animals speak English as well. Like, whatever the fuck. I don't care. I believe you. You can take my word for it. I don't like to think what the blighted creatures might be planning. From now on, I don't want anyone but me going down to the basement. Ask Horatia if it's really talking rats she fears in the basement. Ooh, curious. What else would there be? I admit some curiosity. What are you so nervous of in the basement? Is it really the talking rats? I'm not telling you a word unless you swear to me you won't go looking by yourself. I can't have you sneaking down to the basement alone, no matter what fancy ideas come into your head. Promise? Ooh. Oh, I want to promise because I want to know. But I also, like, it's probably gonna come up, like, a reason to go into the basement, right? And then I'll have to either miss out on something else or I will have to go back on my promise. But I will promise. She asked, she's like provided for me. I have to give her this, right? I swear not to enter the basement without you, or at all if you like. Right then, there's a limb of something poking into our basement. Not the whole body, just a sort of leg. Or might be safer to say tentacle. Oh, rubbery man, right. So far as I can see, it hasn't got any bones in it. Bent like pure muscle, though it doesn't like the lantern light. Sometimes it feels about the basement floor and tries to take things. Stole a bottle of cider I was saving. Just reached out and pulled it into a hole. Like a rat running off with a bit of bread. Only faster and more peculiar. Panic. Calmly accepted Horatia saw a giant tentacle in the basement. Riff on the amusing implications. React as though she can't be serious. Rat talking English? Totally fair. Giant tentacle in the basement? Can't be serious. What is going on here? Riff on the amusing implications. Gonna do that. Are you sure it's a giant leg and not a giant tongue? Looked smoother than a tongue from what I could see, which I admit wasn't much. Well, I guess we'll end the conversation there. Think that will do for now. Good luck with the ministry. I just have time for another errand before supper. Oh, we only get 2 errands in a day. I guess I will just go to Constable Harjeet if he's still there. They are still there. I think I've seen the constable in like screenshots. I think it's a he, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, find Harjeet outside. Oh yeah, and we couldn't ask Gris now before she went to work because obviously it's the afternoon. She's at work. Harjeet turned up as the constable of these streets right around the time London fell. I didn't see him around here before that, but he's watched over the neighborhood since. Interesting. Oh yeah, there he is. Oh, I was like stuck thinking of a voice from there. Going about the master's work, I see. I have something for you if you want it. Produces a nearly new admiral's hat in perfectly good condition. I found it near the docks, no sign of the owner. Can't wear it myself. Thought someone at Mrs. Chapman's might get use out of it. Perhaps Lady Griselda. Admiral's hat, trimmed with gold braid, makes a person look like a respectable representative of the Navy. Wearing it gives me a commanding presence. Interesting. Ask why he thought of us, put it away without comment, thank him profusely. Ooh, that smile as well. Ooh. Ask why he thought of us. I am curious, like, oh yeah, found an Admiral's hat. I'm just gonna bring it over to them. That's very kind, but why us? You must have many families on your rounds. The household has always been kind to me, Mr. Reed. Mr. Reed in particular. Oh, so he's a friend of Archie's. Okay. How's the neighborhood doing? Like, let's start with there before we get into census questions. All well on the streets? Every day I can walk a little further without getting lost, but sometimes I lose a place again. Do you recall the second-hand clothesman who used to be around the corner? Admit I'd forgotten about that. Say yes. Ask where this is leading. Second-hand clothesman who used to be around the corner. I'm just gonna say yes. Like, I've been living in this location for a while, right? Yes, at first I thought the shop was destroyed. But it's moved 2 streets away now. Not only the shop, the whole building that contains it. Ask how that's possible. Offer a scholarly perspective. Calmly accept that a shop in our neighborhood moved locations. Or really like how you can just be like at any point something weird happens, but you're like, I guess we're doing that now, eh? At 3 times in a row as well. That's really funny. I'm gonna offer a scholarly perspective. The labyrinth is a spiritual symbol, sign of searching. If all of London has become a maze, perhaps it has something to teach us. There's more than one maze here. Okay, well let's ask you some questions, Harjeet. What's your full name? Yeah, let's start there. I'll say a little about my own family to encourage introductions. Ask making clears for the census. I'm going to like have with be a little bit of a conversation. I favor him with a brief sketch of my own upbringing and family tree. Harjeet Singh, an uncommon name here. Singh? I grew up in a large house full of people, built to withstand the heat of Lahore. My mother had beautiful rooms of the courtyard, open screen to catch the breeze. It was a mark of our family's wealth. Now I live alone in a dank cave, and it's all I can do to keep the draft out. They ask about employment as well, don't they? Ooh, Harjeet knows about the census then. Ah, interesting. Came to London for entirely different reasons. Constable on my street died on the first night, buried under the rubble of a building. I claimed his uniform and his lantern. That's when I first visited your boarding house. Wait, so he just kind of like... Old constable died. Guess I'll take his job? Fair enough. It's like, to be honest, like, we heard from, like, we were lucky to have Gris, like, be able to give us employment. If this is how Archie's got his employment, more power to the man. I'm gonna ask another census question. Oh, wait, maybe we want to hear more about this, actually. Let Harjeet lead the conversation. Oh, well, that was that, I guess. I guess there was nothing more there. Yeah, so I guess we had all the other questions. Matters of the heart. Harjeet, you seem like an interesting fella. I'm going to phrase, man. After he showed me that smile, yes. Is there anyone special in your life, Arjit? I've met matchmakers before, but not in London. Are all practitioners here equally unsubtle? Appeal to the expectations of the constabulary. Use my authority to bully Harjeet. What? No, I'm not gonna bully him. Appeal to the expectations of the constabulary. Leave the question as it stands. I am... appeal to the expectation of the constabulary. I'm not entirely sure what that like means in this situation, but I guess I want to learn more. I don't just want to leave the question. If you have a weakness to pressure, anything a criminal could use to blackmail you, that should be declared, or you put everyone at risk. Rajit hesitates. I rely on your discretion. Even before the fall, it is not likely that I would have married. My companion was not a lady. He was an Englishman who came to the Punjab. Oh, nice. He became acquainted, and then more than acquainted. I thought he and I would remain together throughout our lives. I followed him here, away from my own country and everything I knew, to the home of my former enemies. He promised me that it was worth the sacrifice. He said we would never be separated. You will observe that he is not here. Purposely condemn Harjeet's former lover, share my most similar experiences, do not presume to comment. I mean, I'm just gonna condemn the guy, like, what a dick, right? What a despicable character, reprehensible. Enough. I'm not a maiden abandoned at the altar. You're kinder than I would be in a similar circumstance. I've been looking for him since the night of the fall. I walked on streets that were tearing themselves stone from stone, looking for him. Ooh, wait, so, like, if they got lost in the fall, it's entirely possible that, they might not have, like, a positive ending. I am going to ask whether he still wants to find this lover. Do you still even want to find him? The moment I see him, I will know whether he has been waiting for me or whether his absence has been a betrayal. And that's fair. Living in fear is no life. I should be on my way. Nah, that's fair, Ajit. I'm sorry for poking too much. I should have been more chill about that. Well, whatever. I've already been here too long. You made me forget where I should be. Ooh, I like that comment. At this point, I go back to Horatius. Oh, got two more, censuses. Sensei? Sensodes? It's good one of you is here for supper. Neither Archie nor Chris has made an appearance today. Good evening. I'm looking for Mr. Reed. Is he here? Archie, he's upstairs. Listen. Yes? I know all the old maps have been outlawed, but if you've come for his atlas, do you think you could leave it with him? Gives him a lot of comfort remembering all those little villages in Scotland where his family used to live. Wow, Archie's from Scotland? Who would have thunk? Put in a good word for Archie's map collection. Let Harjeet get on with it. It's probably ministry business. Keep quiet. I think I'm gonna help Archie. Like, the two of them are friends, so I don't think Harjeet would take it, but you know, maybe I should keep quiet. I think I'm just going to like actively agree with Horatia, just so like help Archie, make Horatia feel like I'm with her as well in this. Yes, leave Archie his maps. He's not doing any harm with them. That isn't why I'm here. Let them keep chatting over the matter. Call Archie downstairs. I think I'm gonna let them keep chatting. Oh, is it to do with his doctoring? I hope no one's too ill. I know Archie worries trying to do physician's work when he didn't finish his training. Does he often treat people? Discourage Horatia from answering that. Explain that Archie has needed the money. Let Horatia reply. Ooh. Is it like a problem that... I mean, obviously, like, it hasn't... Like, it's not good that Archie is... It's probably not proper for Archie to be helping people when he is... not a, like, practicing doctor. But on the other hand, like... I think given the circumstances, surely people would... understand why he is. Like, it's not that he needed the money, right? It's like... There's plenty of work for a physician, and I guess he also needs money, like we all do. I'm just gonna let Horatia reply here, I think. All sorts. We have people showing up here at every time of day or night. Not that there's much distinction now between the two. And I will say, for all he talks about not being trained, he's at his happiest when he's seeing someone. Seeing to someone. So calm and gentle, especially with the children. Very admirable. Have you ever known Archie to make mistakes? Prescribe the wrong dosages? Throw doubt on Archie? Admit I wouldn't know? Say no. I mean, I wouldn't know, but I kind of want to stick up for Archie. Then again, if something did go wrong, I also don't want to, like, lie, right? Like, if Archie, like, did make a mistake and that's what Archie is here to, like, investigate. I'm just gonna say, I'm just gonna admit I wouldn't know. I don't want to throw Archie under the bus, like I really don't, but I also don't know what the situation is. Not in any position to say. No, I suppose not. Of course, Archie chooses this moment to come down the stairs. Oh gee, I hope you're well. I'm sorry, Archibald. I'm here in the line of duty. It's about David Landau. Oh no. Something happened to him? Only saw him today. Shortly after your visit, he died by poisoning. Died? The poor man. Pure. React with shock, react with pain, don't react. I'm gonna react with shock, like, what the fuck? I just met this man, like, yesterday. But I saw him very recently. I'm sorry to have to bring you this news. Is Rachel alright? Is there anyone with her to protect the house? The Landau said you were the last person to speak with David? That the fatal dose must have come from you. I don't understand. I'm here to arrest you for murder. Holy fuck! Okay. Wait a moment. Perhaps Mr. Landau's own relationship took against Archie's manner, and they're blaming him for what he didn't do. My manner? Your way of speaking is peculiar, love. Sometimes people leap to a conclusion for the wrong reason. Well, it's not wrong. I know it's just time till summer better, alright? There's too many folks ill and they cannot cure the whole town. Ask if Rachel is alright, ask where Archie is taking Archie, or let Archie go. I'm curious about Rachel, but at this moment I'm worrying more about Archie, right? Like, even if Rachel just lost her brother to poisoning, which is... oof. I've been living with Archie for quite a while, and he's being taken, presumably, to prison. Or jail? Where are you taking Archie? Newgate Prison was destroyed in the fall. For the time being, prisoners are held in the HMS Ungulate. And we have an Admiral's cap. Wait, but Archie gave us the Admiral's cap. Did he know? Was he trying to help us? Huh, interesting. Sounds like very insalubrious environment. Cold, damp, infested with vermin. Breathing the vapors of the Thames. Might not be good for the health of the prisoners. You're not talking your way out that way. No, I mean, if you didn't mind, before we set out, I'd like to collect a few doses of this and that. Things that might help to sell bad lungs and prolonged coughs. You're asking whether, before we go, you can be allowed to rearrange your collection of drugs? And bring some of those drugs with you. Isn't that quite how I phrased it? When you stand accused of murdering a man through the use of potent toxins. Oh. For the sake of your future guards and cellmates, I think I must refuse. Ask if Rachel's alright about you. I'm also curious about Rachel. Like, let's ask that before they leave. How's Rachel doing? Does she have anyone with her? There's her housekeeper, Phoebe, and some friends from her community. They're preparing the body for burial. It can't be left unburied very long. But why not? Where is he going to be buried? Like, is there a place with the synagogue? Why are they burying him? They mean to take him to a Jewish graveyard, a Baalspond. Rachel said there might be a dispute with their Spanish relatives, that their mother was buried somewhere else. But she did not think it would change the outcome. Well, guess we're gonna let Archie go. Horatio, I'll be back as soon as I can. Don't let out my room to anyone else. Don't think Horatio would do that. Next time on Mask of the Rose. Okay, that's cool. So this is like probably where the demo ends, and now they're gonna give us like a glimpse of the rest of the game. You want to see the surface again? Tell me the truth. What's in the bottle? Don't know what it is, I only know what it does. And you've no need to lie, I know I'm not seeing the surface again. Ooh, interesting. Archie's books. Help me burn them before they give Archie the wrong ID. Oh boy! Oh boy, okay, wait. Hoped for After Archie and Grizz met at Horatia's boarding house, Archie's love for Grizz was matched only by Grizz's dislike for Archie. Okay. Oh, so Archie liked Grizz, eh? Archie made a passionate offer of marriage. Grizz gave her a refusal in blunt terms. Desperate to forget, Archie turned to drink. Meanwhile, Grizz... Okay, so Horatia's hoped for love Archie, not interested Grizz. Offered his mother's ring. Bluntly refused. And Archie returned to the bottle. And we don't know how Grizz is holding up after the whole ordeal. Interesting. There's a true story in here and thousands of false ones. Compelling, but for next time. More hard crumblings is required. My own people won't permit disturbing the gravesite. But you, I know you'll help me for your friend's sake, even if you don't care about David. My companion is good with a shovel. Oh boy. Oh boy, are we really digging up David's grave? Rachel, I'm sorry, I had no choice. Did he fake his own death? What's happening? We thought you were dead. I was. And we need to see to my murderer. The next time he tries, I might not be able to come back. What? What? We hope you have enjoyed playing the Mask with Rose demo. Wishlist Mask with Rose on Steam, return to trial screen or quit the desktop. Holy shit. Remember how I asked, like, I wonder if they're gonna, like, they're probably gonna end the demo with something big, like some event. Well, the event of, like, Archie going to prison was already big enough, but that, like, whole, next time on Mask of the Rose thing. Oh god, I'm so curious about the rest of this game. I'm so curious about the rest of this game. Like, I genuinely cannot wait until it, like, comes out. It seems so cool. But yeah, I guess we'll return to the title screen because I've already wishlisted it. I have since it was possible. So yeah, if you like this, you can also wishlist it on Steam. And if you like the setting, you know, you can try it for London, or you can check out some of the other Feel Better games like Sunless Sea or Sunless Skies as well. I haven't played a lot of Sunless Skies. I might get on that before this game releases actually, or try to get on that anyway. I was trying to see if there was any credits in the game, but guess not. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. That's the Mask of the. That's at least one possible playthrough of the Mask of the Rose demo. Who knows what else kind of things we did? We didn't even go to the ferret shop, for example. Like, there's still plenty of things to discover here. And like I read as well, like there's so many different ways you can go through here. I'm really curious, but I will leave that for the people at home and maybe for myself some other time. But for now, I guess that's going to be the end of the stream. This music is kind of loud. But yeah, anyway, I hope everybody enjoyed. I want to thank everybody very much for watching. Let's actually just go here and then we'll turn down the desktop audio. Yeah, you have a nice weekend too, Andy Mochi. So yeah, what do we have going on? No next stream planned as of yet. If you want to be up to date with that, you can follow me right here on twitch.tv/Jozeevis, or you can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/JozeevisStreams, where I always put on when I go live and any ideas I might have for future streams. So you can follow me there. And if you want to watch any of these streams back, I also have a YouTube channel where I put all of the unarchived thoughts. So this one will be going up there sometime soon as well. And you can find a link to that either on my Twitter or in the About page on my Twitch. And if you are already on YouTube watching this back, thank you very much. And as you might have noticed, I stream all of these lives on twitch.tv/Jozeevis, so you can check me out over there whenever I go live sometimes. So yeah, those are all the socials. Once again, thanks everybody very much for watching. Wish everybody a very nice weekend, and I guess I'll see you next time, whenever that is. Later!